While payments and interest are still paused on federal student loans until June 2023, a lot of borrowers are asking, when will the $10,000 forgiveness plan actually go through? Should I still be making payments on my student loans? What should I be doing now? Those questions answered in this video. Hey guys, it's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt and live payment free. And specifically, we're talking about crushing student loan debt. So it's kind of been this up and down roller coaster of trying to deal with federal student loans ever since the pandemic. So in March 2020, we actually saw the federal student loan payment and interest freeze go into effect. So a lot of borrowers, millions of borrowers, haven't had to actually make payments, and no interest has accrued on any of their federal student loans. In fact, according to Go Banking Rates, more than 26 million borrowers have already applied or have been deemed eligible for Biden's student loan debt relief plan. But with the lawsuit that stemmed out of Texas last year, the $10,000 forgiveness plan has been halted. So what exactly was that $10,000 forgiveness plan? The Biden administration had proposed a $10,000 cancellation for a specific set of borrowers, but in fact, a lot of borrowers fell into this eligibility. So borrowers with incomes of less than $125,000 for individuals or less than $250,000 for households in either 2020 or 2021 were eligible for the $10,000 forgiveness. If you were a Pell Grant recipient while you were in school, that actually gets bumped up to $20,000 in forgiveness. Now, there actually are a lot of federal student loans that apply for this eligibility and qualify, such as undergraduate or graduate loans, Parent Plus loans, Grad Plus loans, and consolidation loans. When I say consolidation loans, it means that you consolidated within the Department of Education, just consolidating your federal loans. If you refinanced with a private student loan servicers, those loans are no longer eligible. All right, so I have two different options for you to consider, and this really is dependent on how much you have remaining in your student loan debt balance and how to make a plan of action when payments will resume, because they will definitely resume at some point. But let's talk about if you have more than $10,000 in federal student loan debt. First, make sure you have at least 2 to 3 months of living expenses set aside in an emergency fund. Those basic living expenses include your rent or your mortgage payment, food, utilities, any car-related expenses such as gas or premiums, any kind of basic living expenses, including, I would also put your cell phone, data plan, and internet in that basic living expenses. All of that needs to be set aside into a separate savings account. I have a ton of videos on that. I will leave a link to one up above for you to check out. Also, you'll want to prioritize high interest debt here because you are accruing interest on things like a credit card debt. You don't even need to make payments on the student loan debt right now. So prioritize the high interest debt first. If you have no other debts than your student loan debt, continue to make payments on that federal student loan debt. Bring that account balance down. When payments and interest resume either after June 2023 or later, then you'll be that much further ahead and actually less interest will accrue because your balance is smaller. If you currently have less than $10,000 remaining in federal student loan debt, those first two steps for the people who have more than $10K in federal student loan debt applies. So we're looking at aiming for 2 to 3 months of living expenses set aside in an emergency fund first. Check. Then the next one is to prioritize high interest debt. If you don't have any other debt remaining aside from these student loans, pay yourself, make payments. I say this in quotations because you're going to actually make those student loan payments into a high yield savings account that's currently earning more than 3%. Banks like Ally and Capital One are currently giving customers 3.3% APY, which is fantastic. So if the $10,000 forgiveness plan does not get passed, what you can do after June 2023 is you can make one lump sum payment towards your federal federal student loans and you'll be that much further ahead. Either you can completely pay it off in one lump sum, or you can really dramatically decrease that remaining balance so you're that much further ahead on completely becoming debt-free. If it does get passed, which this would be amazing. I know we're all rooting for this. If it does get passed, your student loan debt is canceled, you're completely debt-free, and now you have a huge lump sum, ton of money in a savings account that you can do with whatever you want. That's fantastic. So I feel like this is a really sweet spot for borrowers who have $10,000 or less in student loans. Now let's talk about how to prepare to resume payments. One of the biggest things is if you are planning on resuming those payments, you have more than 10K, go and log into your current loan servicer's account and either take a look at past payment history to see exactly what those minimum monthly payments were, or contact your loan servicer now and see what they will be as they resume later on this year. Another thing that you'll want to factor in is to add this payment to your budget. See how that impacts the different spending and saving goals that you have had for 2023. Now, obviously, this first half of the year would be a really good idea to plan out that money for the federal student loans, and then the second half is actually implementing that. So adding this to your budget is really critical. And you'll also want to check out this free debt reduction calculator that I found on vertex42.com. That's going to help you organize your debts, come up with a realistic debt payoff plan, whether you use Debt Snowball, which is paying the lowest balance first, or Debt Avalanche, which would be the highest interest first, or maybe a combination, something custom that you want to come up with yourself. This tool is going to help you get there and figure out a realistic plan and actually visually see it on a spreadsheet. It's a really great tool. I will leave a link to Vertex 42 and that debt reduction calculator below for you to find out. Also, if you're in need of a budget tool, be sure to check out my free budget toolkit. It's the same spreadsheet that I've been using for over 10 years to track my income and expenses that helped me pay off $35,000 in student loan debt. So I know this tool can help you as well. So what camp are you in? Are you going to continue to make payments on your student loans now, or are you going to hold off and wait for the forgiveness plan to hopefully, maybe, who knows, become approved? Let me know in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next one.